The circus arrives without warning. I want you to read The Night Circus, but this is such a peculiar book that it certainly isn't for everyone. So for this review, we're going to do something different. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should read The Night Circus and 5 reasons why it might not be for you. But let's start with what The Night Circus is about. The Night Circus is a magical, fairy tale-like story following the lives of 2 apprentices to 2 magicians with different styles. These 2 apprentices are trained from childhood and then pitted against each other in a competition. And this competition takes place in a circus that travels the world, appears without notice, and is only open at night. The story mainly focuses on the relationship that develops between the 2 apprentices, but also this competition affects the lives of several other side characters. In the cover of the book, you can see this black and white circus with red accents. It's a beautiful paper cut-like design. There's a clock, which is a significant symbol of the circus. The clock in the book is much more elaborate than this one. In my TBR, I said the aesthetic felt like the 19th century. And guess what? The book takes place in the late 19th century. This one is a pretty cover, but I've seen some strange covers of this book as well. Alright, let's get to our reasons why you should or shouldn't read this book. Let's start with the negative and alternate. Reason number 1 why The Night Circus might not be for you is because you like heavily plot-driven stories. If you like a clever plot with twists, if you like action and battles, if you like a clear story with a traditional structure, this book is not for you. Don't get me wrong, the plot is still interesting and not really vague or anything, but it's definitely not the focus of this book. I read the blurb of this book in my TBR and it totally misled me. This competition is not like a battle and it's not like trials. It's a very general, broad contest with barely any rules. The characters are not really trying to beat each other or anything. I don't want to spoil what actually happens, but the competition is very subtle. The first reason why you should read this book is if you like character-driven stories. You will spend a lot of time with many different characters. There are 2 main protagonists who are the apprentices, but the magicians themselves are fairly interesting and menacing at times. The other performers at the circus have interesting personalities, and there are characters who are visitors. The book does not favor any viewpoint and mostly has a neutral viewpoint, and it takes time over a decent period of time, so you get to see a lot of characters grow up. Reason number 2, this book might not be for you, is if you like world building with deep lore. When I read the blurb and it talked about this magical circus that appeared out of nowhere and only operated at night, I imagined there would be a secret history behind it to uncover. However, you will see the circus get built, and there are secrets, but it's not really deep. It's pretty much on the surface. The fans of the circus in the book make up theories about the circus, but you probably won't. But you should read it if you like fairy tales. Fairy tales generally don't have complex world building. Things are just because. And this book is a bit like that. The magic is the way it is just because. The circus is the way it is. No one questions it. It travels the world without any problems with authorities. No inspections or anything. But it's an absolutely magical atmosphere. It makes you feel like there is so much more to the world. Number 3. You might not like this book if you get easily confused or if you have a hard time keeping track of events. There are a lot of time jumps in this book and they're not chronological. I didn't realize that first and got confused, but then realized what was happening. It is clear in the chapter titles, but you do need to pay attention. But you should definitely give this book a try if you like movies, especially if you like indie movies or old black and white movies. Older movies were long and slow. The pacing was different than what we are used to now. And this book feels a bit like that, especially the descriptions in this book feel very neutral, meaning independent from the characters, and it feels just like you're watching the movie. Everything is described in so much detail and with such elegance. I think this book has been in development for a movie adaptation for quite some time, but who knows if it will ever be finished. I think if it does, it will have incredible cinematography because the imagery in this book is nothing short of stellar. The reason number 4 you might not like this book is because you like hard magic systems. You like rules, you want some sort of basis for your magic. You want to be able to know the limits of magic and the sacrifice you need to make for magic. Well, then this book is not for you. Now, I want you to think about the softest magic system. This book has a softer magic system. Magic can literally do anything in this book. The two protagonists have different specialties, but there's still no real limit to what magic can do. It's always unpredictable. I'm not a huge fan of soft magic systems, but I was able to overlook it because of the particular style of this book. If, on the other hand, you like having a magical atmosphere, a lot of incredible environmental descriptions that would make you feel like you're actually there, if you would like to experience how magic makes people feel like instead of how they do magic, this book is for you. The protagonists in this book are performing magicians in a way. Their magic is supposed to be experienced by audiences, and boy do they experience it. It's unlike anything I've ever seen anywhere else. To really enjoy this book, you should be able to be content with just letting yourself experience the world without understanding it. Which brings us to the last reason you might not like this book. This book will not allow you to experience the world through a viewpoint character. There aren't a lot of internal thoughts. You don't spend a lot of time in characters' minds. It's an omniscient narrator. This is also why you might want to read this book, because this book has a very original style of storytelling. It is doing something very different and unexpected. There are chapters written in second person. I cannot remember the last time I saw a book written in second person, except for those choose your own adventure books. But this book wants you to experience everything. It gives you neutral descriptions of every scene, so you feel like a ghost flying around the world. It's very important for this book to make you feel like you are experiencing this magical circus. And you have to let it. Not everyone can be content with that, but it is quite a rare thing I see a book try to do. So if you're interested in stylized storytelling, definitely give this book a try. Alright, that's all I have to say. I was actually going to compare what I guessed in my TBR to what the book actually is, but the book just offered me a different experience than I expected. I'll say this much, I guessed a decent number of things right, but the book still managed to change things up a bit. It's debatable if it did in a satisfying way, because as I said, the plot is not the strongest point of this book, but you can't look past it. It offers a pretty unique reading experience. Alright, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like to let me know. And if you would like to see more videos, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. Also, let me know in the comments if you already read this book or if this video helped you make a decision. And I'll see you next time.